Ladies and gentlemen, I remember going to the first ever Discworld convention, which was held in Birmingham. Or was it Manchester? Manchester. Well, whatever. Their conventions, I've always said the ideal convention is 3 Chinese meals separated by alcohol. Anyway, I arrived there, and it was an education to watch the people turn up. Because every single person that went along to the first Discworld convention thought that they were going to be the only one. And you could see the look of sheer joy on their face when they found that there were other people in the world as lunatic as they were. And just as an aside, and since I'm chatting to you while we're waiting for the bus, I remember that there was a journalist there, and when the masquerade was on, he thought he would have a bit of fun, and he went up backstage and asked the various people what they did for a living. And he was expecting them to say, nothing at all, I'm unemployed, surely you can see that. And I was listening to what was happening, and the First Lady said, well, actually, I'm deputy head of a girls' school. That was a nanny og. And then someone else said, oh, I work for a large chain of, I think it was a large chain of accountants in the West Country. He was walking around and people saying, you know, I'm head of project engineering at so-and-so. And he came back to me and said, they've all got jobs! And most of them probably earn more than me. And I said, that's how it is. The one thing that's happened, it seems to me to have happened very recently. It's like all the little blobs of mercury ran together. Because initially when Discworld started, all the fans thought they were the only fans. Gradually it came to their notice that they weren't. And now I find fans in so many places. Right? The trouble is you can't even spot the buggers anymore.
They're in disguise.
When I Rob and I, and later Lynn joined us, went to Australia this year. Rob and I got off the plane, we went to walk around Sydney, and this was Australia, and a man at work got down off his scaffolding and said, "Here, are you Terry Pratchett?" Because, you know, I was going there to do the event in the Opera House. And he said, yes. He said, I haven't been able to get a ticket. You know what I mean? Okay, my guess, in your own. I've been walking about. I wanted to buy some shoes. The lady in the shoe shop was a fan. Everywhere there was a fan. The following day, I wanted to pick up some clothing, went shopping. A lady there was not only a fan in this big store, became my personal shopper and gave me a really good deal on Calvin Klein underwear.
It's hanging off there.
And this went on when some of you must have heard us talk about this. We went to Hobbiton. We went over to New Zealand as well. The people running the place there were fans. And I can tell you that I got to see inside the Hobbit houses and outside, and I'll tell you what, none of them's got a shit house in it. But you would have thought tiny little outhouses would be the thing for the movie. It would get a laugh. But the big thing was we came back via Ayers Rock Resort, but I stay there, I go to Australia. And the boss of the resort, and the Ayers Rock Resort is like a great big city almost in central Australia because it has so many tourists. He phoned me up and said, we know you come here quite a lot. I'd like to talk to you about what we're doing here and how we can improve things. And do you mind spending a little time having a chat? And I said, no problem really. And I went and chatted, and afterwards I said, just to be cheeky, since I spent some of my holiday time talking to you about the things you could be doing better, and some of them they could have done better, but they're pretty good. And I said, can we have some late check-in? A check-out rather. He said, I'll do better than that. I'll take you to the airport myself. I said, fine, but you don't have to. No, I'd like to do that, I'm a fan. Okay, so we got to the airport next day. I was ready to shake his hand, saying thanks very much. He said, no, I'm taking you in. He marches us through check-in rather. So it's like through, then he marches us through security. And then they're now sitting there on very comfy chairs, waiting for our plane, wondering what happened. And I said, are you a tyrant or what? He said, this is my airport. then to cap it all, we got on the flight, nice little flight, eating our meal. Suddenly, a very nice bottle of wine is put in front of me, and the flight attendant smiles and says, the pilot says that his wife is your biggest fan. And this stuff was happening all the time, because at Ayers Rock Resort, Lynn didn't want to drive, and so we've been there many times before, we've driven around and so forth. I can't drive anymore, and she didn't really want to. So I said, oh well, let's use Avis or something. But when she went to Avis, they were getting a bit snotty about stuff and pick-up times and things. So I said, let's treat this like millionaires, and we went to see the people that do the bespoke tours, which things like helicopter rides, and just if you want to go somewhere with a guide that can tell you everything that goes on. We met the lady and said we want to go to this place and this place and this place, we want to see this and this and this. And she said, oh, no, sorry, we'd love to do this. But, it's the holiday season and we've run out of tour guides. And so Lynn said, oh, that's a shame. I'll give you our card and I'll give you our address in the resort. And if someone calls in sick or whatever, can you ask us? And she says, fine. We were halfway out the door when she came running out of me out after me and said, are you really Terry Pratchett? I said, now remember this. My boy has now gone to university. The only book the first book that he ever read that we could get him to read was a Discworld book. You are going to have your tour. I've spoken to my boss and was explaining to her and said, and she said, you don't have to explain. The same thing happened to my daughter. I know we haven't got any guides, but we're going to tell him we'll give him Wally all the way from Alice. The following morning, there was a banging on the door. I open the door, can't see anything but greyness, and I look up, And there's this tallest bloke I've ever seen. Saying, "Good day, my name's Roy." And we had great fun. I mean, because he took us all around Central and South Australia. It was magnificent. And we found this all, and then coming back, because in Australia you have to sign out as well as sign in. One of the guys sort of looked around and said, "Yeah, that's fine. Sorry to see you leaving. Can you write this for my little boy? He's one of your greatest fans." And you just can't tell where the fans are. Not all of them. Dress like some of the people here. But never mind, you don't have to unless you want to. And if you want to, nobody else cares a shit. And if you want to talk to me, you can talk to me as much as you like, especially if you're prepared to listen to me as much as you like. And I'm very pleased to see you here, and tell your friends that they're not as all as loony as they seem. Lovely to see you all. The newbies and the old gangies. And you as well. Someone sit close.
Ladies and gentlemen,